Okay, hello everyone and welcome. We are happy to see so many people already on the line. I think we can slowly get started with this webinar. My name is Maija Vierimaa. I'm the Product Marketing Manager for Sovelia. And we are here today to give you an overview of the latest Sovelia Core release. Our product manager, Tuomas Latomäki, will go through the new features, and our product owner, Sami Lehtonen, is also here to answer your questions.
Hi everyone.
I think it will take about half an hour to go through the new features, and then we will have plenty of time for your questions as well. So feel free to ask your questions through the chat box or the questions box on the bottom, and we will answer them as we go or then in the end. Okay, with that, let's get started. Tuomas, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Maija. I'll start by sharing my screen and I think you should be seeing something now. Yeah, welcome from my side as well. Well, and as Maija stated, I'm gonna briefly go through what's new in latest Sovelia Core release and Sovelia CAD Add-in release for Inventor. And before I start, I want to point out that all these things I'm going to show you, plus some videos and additional information, is also available on sovelia.com. And I think Maija can paste the link in the chat as well, if you haven't yet visited here. All right. But starting from HTML client side, one of the major improvements in this version is the drag and drop functionality. So with this release we introduced a faster and more intuitive way to create and modify structures. And well, dragging and dropping it's possible within the same structure, within different browser tabs and within the different tabs. And you can basically drag and drop everywhere you see the thumbnail in the system. I'll show you this in a live environment just in a moment. Another usability related feature is the new dashboard layout and some enhancements to the notification side. So a little bit redesigned and a little more configuring options available, and mainly just to ensure that you can access all the needed data at one glance. But in this point, let's jump and see on the application side. First, going through the basics of the dashboard. So this is what I see when I log into the system, and if you are familiar with previous Sovelia Core versions, you already probably see some difference. The basics are the same, but we have brought, for example, the notifications on the right-hand side, where it's always available. Of course, you can still access it through the bell icon there. Within enhancements, we can do some categorizing with the notifications as well. And I'm now looking at my personal dashboard, which means I can reorganize this the way I want to. Through administration, other tabs as well are configurable, but this I can affect myself. For each view, I can swap between the different layouts, and of course also add analysis as I need to. And same way, like a previous dashboard, all these act as a links to searches. Can also reorganize the items on the dashboard and, for example, add my saved searches into the window. All right. And when it comes to drag and drop functionality, it's pretty straightforward. So, as I said, wherever you see the thumbnail, you can grab it and drag wherever you want. For example, within same structure, duplicating the entity, or from the dashboard as well, just taking any of these and bringing it to the structure. If we are having separate tabs, or we want to multi-select and drag, that we can do as well. And we actually get the notification on the top corner that if the linking was successful. If you are trying to link object that shouldn't be linked, it will be stopped and skipped in that phase. All right, let's head back to slide set. And please feel free to leave questions related to those. We'll answer them in the end. All right. Another addition in the latest release is creating manufacturing BOMs based on template structures. And it really gives some flexibility without losing the organized way to handle manufacturing BOMs. I'll show you like a brief basics how this functionality works. So everything starts with the E-BOM, engineering BOM on the left-hand side. And within the manufacturing BOM template, we can create and upkeep different ready-made M-BOM templates in the system, which can already have pre-existing face items on place. And we will use this as a basis for the manufacturing BOM copy. What happens next is that we do the mapping. For each parts and sub-assemblies, we define that in which phase these items should be in, for example, each facility. We can do it normally with the relation data, or then just tell each item that which phases they are always going to be. As we see, the values I'm inserting here are straight corresponding to pre-existing phase items in the template structure. What happens next is that I go and click to create me a new manufacturing BOM and select the template I want to use, which then automatically creates the mapped manufacturing BOM structure. And this is a structure you can freely do modifications, add items, and continue the structure creation. And also, when some updates are done on the origin side, engineering BOM side, we can mirror them automatically to manufacturing BOM. All right, and a couple things on the server side. We've added a support for Microsoft Publisher files and converting them into PDF automatically during the status changes. And we are now allowing ECO and ECR creation directly from the Sovelia Inventor CAD Add-in side. So that really streamlines the designer's work and reducing the need of swapping between the windows. This for sure requires also a suitable CAD Add-in version. I'll go through those release news in a second. And the third one is that we have added and expanded the single sign-on support for extranet and supplier collaboration users as well. And that allows the object users or collaboration users to log in with the SSO as well. And of course, this is an improvement to secure and simple ways to use Sovelia Core. All right, moving to Sovelia CAD Add-in side. Together with Sovelia Core 25.0 version, we have released the 25.1 version for Sovelia Inventor CAD Add-in. And a couple main features. This one we tackled halfway already, but this is how it looks like in a system. So you'll have new ECO, new ECR buttons on the ribbon we are all familiar with. And what it does, it actually launches automatically the HTML client window, and you can continue working the same way you would if you have opened it from HTML. So it's a shortcut to reduce swapping between the different windows. And also here I have a note that to enable this feature, you need to have Sovelia Core 25.0 or higher version in use. Secondly, this is a very much requested feature, and now we have added the trigger configuration management on the Sovelia Core self-admin tool. So compared to old configuration where you manage all the trigger configurations in that config file, it is now possible to do in SAT tool. And we see that this is a much more straightforward way of doing the configurations. Also for this, you need to have also 25.0 version installed, and of course the newest CAD Add-in client as well. And then in a UI enhancement side, we have added a new item creation wizard in the CAD Add-in client. The release eases up the workflow of creating new parts according to part. Also done some changes on the user interface related to that. And second UI-related change is the status filtering in promote functionality. This has been also requested by our customers. So when promoting multiple objects, system now automatically uses the lowest status as default. And this is for reduce misclicks and unplanned object approvals or status skipping also. That's actually pretty much all from my side, and I've heard some blinging in my earphones, so you probably have some questions as well.
Yes, there has been quite a lot of discussion in the chat. Tuomas, will you go through if there's something you, or also Sami, you can also comment now, like?
Yeah, I can comment, of course, verbally also, but I'm writing answers on chat. But I think I answered almost all of them, except the last one, the CAD Add-in stuff. But yeah, CAD Add-in, we are providing builds for all the already supported versions, so 2024 as well is supported. So we are providing builds for them as well. Yeah. And Bear, I think we need, and Bear is asking about the PDF converter and the macros on Word document. So I think we need to come back with that and have a look. I have a faint memory that we do tolerate them with some flags, but I need to check that to make sure I get the correct answer to you. But as in general, of course, macros are a bit problematic in server-side executions because they can be dangerous in some cases. Somebody might put there something nasty, but we need to come back to that question, Per.
Yeah. All right. Is there any other questions or discussions you would like to point out from the chat, or are we more or less finished here?
There is probably one more question coming up, but it seems that we were quite efficient today.
Yeah, we were. And did we get the links in the chat? Yeah. So there's also videos explaining the drag and drop functionality more and also the dashboard functionality. And for many of these features, we also have added help pages to help.sovelia.com, so to access even more detailed information and help while using the system. All right. If nothing else, thank you from my side.
There's one question from Theo still.
Okay.
So just reading it through. No worries, Theo. Theo, I think we should walk through that case, but there's quite a lot of default values that we can set on the BOM template and how it acts. So we can set certain phases based on type and attribute values as well. So I'm pretty confident that would be doable, but of course we would need to understand more about the case maybe. But
yeah. I can just
we can set certain default values for also on the phases, so you don't need to actually go and add the phases yourself.
Yeah.
And there's also kind of override mechanisms like if you have a default value based on type, then you can still override that default value by adding the value in the relationship. So there's quite a lot of possibilities. It's quite a flexible concept to work with. So.
Yeah, exactly. So basically we can do the definition on the relation side or in the item attributes, or then we can define reset rules that, for example, all items in a certain type should always go to certain phases unless we define something else here. So we have an override mechanism as well.
So another question from Daniel about what is the differences between the BOM and the install based. I think the short answer to that is that manufacturing bill of materials are more directed to manage operational phases in the actual manufacturing phase of the product. The install base, on the other hand, is more focused on collecting the traceable information about as the product was built. For example, collecting serial numbers of certain specific components or tracking the certain important revisions which were in the as delivered bill of materials. So they are quite different actually by their nature, the manufacturing bill of material and the install base.
All right. Is there still questions coming? At least no one's writing, as long as I see. Yeah.
And if there are other questions, of course, like you can drop us a mail or a few lines anytime.
Of course, anytime. Yeah. All right. Thank you from my side.
Thank you.